Welcome to Express News. We give you top 100 news of the day. Let's get started. India has emerged as the global leader in fast payments driven by the Unified Payments Interface, according to a report by the IMF titled Growing Retail Digital Payments, the Value of Interoperability. The report highlighted UPI's role in reducing cash usage and declining debit credit card transactions since its 2016 launch. IMF in its fintech note pointed out that India now makes the fastest payments among all nations, and the credit for this goes entirely to UPI. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval has slammed foreign media for their reportage on Operation Sindoor. He also confirmed that India successfully hit 13 Pakistani air bases during the operation. Addressing the 62nd Convocation Day at IIT Madras on Friday, NSA highlighted the significant role of youth and said that it is the responsibility of the youth to find solutions. Central Bureau of Investigation has successfully coordinated the return of Kubawala Mustafa from the UAE through Interpol channels. Mustafa was wanted for running a synthetic drug factory from abroad. He is accused of manufacturing mephedrone, a party drug, at a facility in Maharashtra and allegedly supplied raw materials and distributed it in Gujarat. The Indian Coast Guard saved two US nationals stranded in a distressed yacht US-flagged sailing vessel Sea Angel about 53 miles south of Nicobar Islands. On receipt of a distress message via the US consulate at Chennai, ICG ship Rajveer was deployed and responded to the distressed situation, navigating through rough sea conditions. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology launched a white paper titled Transitioning to Quantum Cyber Readiness in New Delhi today. Addressing the event, Secretary S. Krishna emphasized that quantum readiness is a strategic imperative as the nation prepares for the disruptive potential of quantum technologies, especially in cybersecurity. Union Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan visited ICAR Research Centre at Coimbatore. During his visit, he said that the government will find a way to solve the issues related to cotton cultivation and diseases which affect the crop. The minister also said that the government will promote research activity and identify the problems relating to cotton cultivation and value-added products. Union Home Minister Amit Shah chaired a high-level meeting on the rejuvenation of Yamuna River in New Delhi. Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta, along with senior officials, attended the meeting. Union Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia reviewed Bharat 6G alliance progress and urged B6GA to work towards India's ambitious target to achieve 10% IPRs in 6G technology globally. India rolls out first ever e-truck incentive scheme under Green Mobility Vision. Union Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy launched the scheme to cut freight emissions and boost Make in India initiative. The government unveiled Rs 9.6 lakh incentive for electric trucks to power net zero freight transition. The scheme is expected to support the deployment of approximately 5,600 e-trucks across the country. The Indian Army has launched Operation Shiva 2025 in close coordination with civil administration and central armed police forces to ensure the smooth and secure conduct of the Amarnath Yatra. More than 8,500 troops have been deployed to secure the Holy Amarnath pilgrimage route and Amarnath cave in Jammu and Kashmir. 9 medical aid points, 100-bed hospital and oxygen supply of more than 2 lakh litres has been created. The Ministry of Education successfully convened a 2-day Vice-Chancellor's Conference of Central Universities in Kevadia, Gujarat. The event was attended by the Union Minister for Education, Dharmendra Pradhan, and other dignitaries. Indian stock market indices ended on a negative note on Friday. Sensex was down 689 points to close at 82,500.47. Nifty declined 205 points to close at 25,149.85. Gold futures maturing on August 5 were priced at Rs 97,229 per 10 grams on the multi-commodity exchange. Silver futures for September 5 maturity stood at Rs 1,11,648 per kilogram on the MCX. Wall Street indices rose on Thursday with stock benchmarks marking closing record highs. The S&P 500 gained 17.2 points to end at 6,280.46 points, while the Nasdaq Composite gained 19.327 points. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 192.34 points. Global oil benchmarks remained stable on Friday. Brent oil futures traded at $68.83 per barrel. West Texas Intermediate was up $0.24 to $66.84 a barrel. International Energy Agency boosted its forecast to supply growth this year while also cutting its prediction for growth in demand. European shares dipped on Friday as the US President said on Thursday the European Union could receive a letter on tariff rates by Friday. The Pan-European Stoxx 600 index was down 0.4% at 551 points, but was on track to log a weekly gain. Other major regional indexes also traded lower. On the sidelines of the ASEAN-India Foreign Ministers meeting in Malaysia, India's Minister of State for External Affairs Pabitra Margarita met Deputy PM and Foreign Minister of Cambodia Prak Sokhonn. Both leaders discussed multifaceted bilateral relations ranging from heritage conservation to development partnership. The minister thanked Cambodia for its support towards India's fight against terrorism. MOS Margarita also met Foreign Minister of Timor-Leste Bendito Freitas on sidelines of ASEAN-India meet. The leaders discussed ongoing bilateral cooperation for further strengthening the Delhi-Dili partnership. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio met his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi on Friday on the sidelines of ASEAN summit in Malaysia. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and US Secretary of State Marco Rubio held talks on the sidelines of ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting in Malaysia. The interaction between the two diplomats followed their 50-minute bilateral meeting on Thursday. During the East Asia Summit, Malaysia's Foreign Minister Hassan emphasized the importance of ASEAN and its partner countries working together to navigate economic and geopolitical challenges. Armed men killed 9 bus passengers after kidnapping them in southwestern Balochistan province. The officials said on Friday that the passengers were kidnapped from multiple buses on Thursday evening. US President Donald Trump on Thursday announced a 35% tariff on imports from Canada next month and planned to impose blanket tariffs of 15% or 20% on most other trade partners. In a letter released on his social media platform, Trump told Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney the new rate would go into effect on August 1st and would go up if Canada retaliated. The new US tariff will apply to Canadian imports. President Trump said it was a response to Canadian retaliation and persistent trade barriers. Responding to a new tariff announcement from the Canadian Prime Minister, the Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney said his government will continue to defend Canadian workers and businesses in their negotiations with the US. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva is rallying business leaders to back his government if talks with the US administration fail. Lula has called the way the tariffs were announced disrespectful. He also said that he was working to unite exporters of orange, juice, steel and aerospace to negotiate and find a resolution. Russia is awaiting a major statement from US President Donald Trump, which is expected on Monday, as confirmed by Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov after Trump voiced frustration with Russian president over Ukraine conflict. President Donald Trump has said that the United States would supply weapons to Ukraine via NATO. He also talked about what he called a new deal between the US, NATO allies and Ukraine over weapons shipment from the United States. South Korea's defense ministry released footage of a joint air drill with Japan and the US featuring a US B-52H strategic bomber and fighter jets over international waters on Friday. Britain and France agreed for a one-in, one-out migrant return scheme where UK would send undocumented migrants back to France in exchange for accepting an equal number of legitimate asylum seekers with UK family ties. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and French President Emmanuel Macron agreed to tighten nuclear cooperation as the region frets over the US commitment to its defense and Russian ambitions. Israel is ready to negotiate a lasting deal with Hamas to end the Gaza conflict when a temporary halt to hostilities begins. Indirect negotiations have been taking place between the two sides in Qatar, and Hamas has agreed to free 10 of the 20 hostages still alive in captivity since October 7. We are heading for a short break. We will be back with the Express News in just a bit. Stay tuned to DD India.
कम समय में ज्यादा मुनाफा, बस एक क्लिक में। कमाल है।
अनजान लिंक्स पर क्लिक मत कीजिए। RBI कहता है
जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
Delivery boy has picked your order.
We know you are hungry. The message notification said it would take 30 minutes.
We can't just rely on a message.
Didn't you sell some shares yesterday?
Yes.
So did you check them?
I got a message.
You can't just rely on one message. If you make any transactions in the stock market, cross-check the SMS or email you receive from the stock exchange with your Demat account as well as bank statement.
Beta, when one's hungry, the brain doesn't function properly.
Welcome back. You're watching Express News on DD India. Let's resume. Central India braces for heavy rain as India Meteorological Department has issued a fresh warning across multiple subdivisions of the country. Several areas in the mountainous states of Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh are set to receive intense showers accompanied by thunderstorms and lightning. In Uttarakhand, heavy rains have crippled daily life, causing blocked roads, overflowing rivers and landslides in hilly regions of the state. The IMD has warned of continued downpours, while the centre has released 455.6 crores in relief funds for the Himalayan state. In the national capital, Delhi, there's good news on the air quality front. The city has recorded an air quality index of 59, its lowest in recent days. In Pakistan, torrential monsoon rains have submerged major roads and low-lying neighborhoods in Pakistan's Lahore, disrupting traffic and forcing emergency evacuations. At least 90 people have died in Pakistan from flood and rain-related incidents since June 26. The casualties resulted from drowning, landslides and collapsing structures. The Japanese capital Tokyo was hit by a torrential downpour on Thursday evening, with authorities warning of heavy rain, floods and lightning in some areas. Thousands of first responders continued searching through thick mud-covered debris in Texas Hill County on Thursday, holding out hope of finding survivors 6 days after flash floods. In Texas, more than 120 people have lost their lives, including dozens of children. Over 170 people are still missing. US President Donald Trump is set to visit the disaster zone on Friday. The sacred Kawad Yatra of the Shravan month in Hindu calendar begins today across India. Millions of devotees have set out towards pilgrimage sites like Haridwar, Rishikesh and other to collect holy river Ganga water. The holy city of Haridwar in the Himalayan state of Uttarakhand is expected to witness a large number of devotees with nearly 70 million devotees. On the first day of Shravan, devotees flocked to Kashi's Lord Shiva temple to offer prayers. Worshippers gathered at Ujjain's Lord Shiva temple to offer prayers and join special rituals. Worshippers also gathered at Lord Shiva temple in UP's Prayagraj to offer prayers and receive blessings. In Delhi, devotees visited the Lord Shiva temple located in heart of the city, Chandni Chowk, to offer prayers. Devotees offered prayers at Lord Shiva temple in Ayodhya in the North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh on the first day of Shravan. Bharat Utsav, the festival of India, is in full swing in Russia's Moscow, celebrating India's cultural richness with Bharatnatyam and Kathak dance forms. The sails of the windmill on top of Paris's iconic Moulin Rouge Cabaret Club began to turn again on Thursday for the first time since they fell off in 2024. A leading cancer support charity has said that King Charles and his daughter-in-law Kate's public battle with cancer has had a huge impact on fellow sufferers. The original Birkin bag was sold at auction for 8.6 million euros at Sotheby's, Paris, which the auction house said was a record for a fashion item in Europe. The starting price was at 1 million euros and bids from the floor, from the phone and on the internet quickly went higher and higher. Sotheby's has confirmed that the buyer who made the winning bid via telephone through a representative in the room was a Japanese collector. In the heart of Essaouira on Morocco's Atlantic coast, craft makers have mastered making a 3-string bass-plugged lute with deep ancestral roots. Kapil Sharma's Caps Cafe in Canada called the recent firing incident heartbreaking but confirmed no injuries were reported, vowing to stay strong. Film Maharani trailer starring Mansi Parekh dives into everyday household struggle, reflecting the unspoken ties that exist in every home. Syrian designer Rami Al Ali makes powerful debut at the Paris Couture Week with The Guardian of Light, a show filled with hope and strength of Syria's future. Dhanush starts shooting for D54, directed by Vignesh Raja. Makers share pics from puja ceremony. The legal battle between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie over their co-owned winery Chateau Miraval remains unresolved, demanding private communications from ex-wife. The paper reboot of The Office to premiere on September 4, 2025 on Peacock with 4 episodes, 2 new episodes to release weekly every Thursday till September 25. The Puppies stole the show at the special screening of the new Superman film in Los Angeles, bringing the superhero flair and flurry fun to the carpet. Trailer drops for the new SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants, was unveiled on July 10. It follows SpongeBob's deep sea adventure. Justin Bieber's drop his 7th album Swag, featuring 21 tracks and collaborations with worldwide artists. Album is co-produced by Bieber himself, Carter Lang, Darlene Wiggins. Marvel's Fantastic Four returns for a reboot with a new storyline, which is all set to release globally on July 23rd. Pacer Jasprit Bumrah took 5 wickets as India dismissed England for 387 runs on the second day of the third test at Lord's on Friday. England batter Joe Root completed his 37th Test 100 and a record-extending 8th century at Lord's Cricket Ground. Batter Jamie Smith slammed a quick-fire half-century to take England's total to 387 runs. India Cricket Board says Vice Captain Rishabh Pant is yet to recover from his finger injury and won't keep wickets during the England's first innings. Pacer Mitchell Starc is set to play his 100th Test match when Australia takes on West Indies in third Test in Kingston on Sunday. Ireland all-rounder Curtis Camper becomes the first player to claim 5 wickets in 5 balls while playing for Munster Reds during their inter-provincial T20 match against North West Warriors in Dublin. 7-time Wimbledon champion Novak Djokovic faces world number 1 Jannik Sinner in the Wimbledon semi-final on Friday. Iga Swiatek breezed into her first Wimbledon final to set up summit clash with Amanda Anisimova on Saturday. Swiatek demolished former Olympic champion Belinda Bencic 6-2, 6-0 in just 71 minutes in the semi-final. In another women's semi-final, Anisimova shattered Arina Sabalenka's Wimbledon title bid with a 6-4, 4-6, 6-4 victory in the semi-final. Alexander Zverev has pulled out of the Swiss Open just over a week after he crashed out of Wimbledon in the first round. In a gruesome incident, Indian tennis player Radhika Yadav was allegedly shot dead by her father at their residence in suburb of New Delhi. Spain head coach Montse Tomé hinted at Aitana Bonmati will return to starting 11 for the first time at the Women's Euro in their final group match against Italy. Defender Theo Hernandez has completed his transfer from AC Milan to Saudi Pro League side Al Hilal. Athletic Bilbao's Ere Alvarez has been provisionally suspended due to a failed dope test after a Europa League game against Manchester United. That's it. AN Express News and updates will continue. You keep watching DD India.